Righto, so these are becoming very difficult to find, and anybody who's looking for a 2-button President Washington, trust me, you should have bought it 5 years ago. They have dried up, they are getting hard. Now that being said, I'm sure I'm going to get people on my YouTube channel saying, I've got one. Well, my advice, keep it. They are really getting difficult to find. Now, the distinction of the 2-button versus the 3-button. 2-button was your 858 version, and let me just show you something. And 3-button here, which was the unit in Washington, is not. What are they, A719? Trying to remember now. Now this Washington here, this one actually came with its books and everything. I've got the box and everything for that. We've got to have the box in a minute. Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to check that processor. And there we go. So, yeah, the 3-button, just keep in mind that's the MB8719. And that was very popular, no question. So, don't discount buying a 3-button. That's fine. But definitely the 2-button has become something that's very sought after. So what did people like about the 2-button? It's really because it's the original 858 chassis, and that's the thing. And finding one that's really clean is the key. I've had a lot of Washingtons over the years that have been anything but clean. That's the problem. Finding this one came out of Ohio. Area code 216. There you go. I know that because I've rung him quite a few times. He's a collector in Ohio that I've probably bought 100 radios from. I'm no kidding either. It's he's an elderly gentleman, and and I bought this about probably 3 years ago. And hard to believe that I bought this 3 years ago, and this is the first time I fired it up. But as you can see, look at this. I mean, it is clean. I haven't even taken the dust off it yet, to be honest. It's just been sitting on the shelves, and it's just a President Washington, isn't it? It's and it is a 2-button. Okay, so it needs a bit of a clean, just little marks and bits of smudge mark there. That's better. Let's have a look at that. Oh, now I smudged it more. Good on you. Anyway, we'll put a bit of spray and wipe over that, eh? So the first thing you always want to check, of course, let's make sure that all their digits are working because, easy fix. I get displays out of England. Actually, I'll show you where they are. Or will I? Maybe I won't. Yes, I will. Okay, so these displays come out of England. And what does it say here? From President Cobra. Jeez. Anyway, that's what they are. So very easy to get displays for them. I've got those in green, blue, and red. Would you believe it? Now, if you want to keep this radio worth the money that it's worth, then put a red one back in. If you're going to go full custom, look, I'm not against that, and I've just bought a really nice custom Cobra out of the UK that's all in chrome, and some people would say, whoa, it's a bit blingy, and it is blingy, there's no question. Actually, let me quickly show you that. Now, I'm obviously showing you this on the net because it hasn't arrived yet, but this is just a few photos of... Now, this is what you call a full custom Cobra, and look, I love it. Now, not everyone will. Don't get me wrong, I have a very nice in-the-box Cobra 2000 that's completely standard. So to complement it, having something that's been modded, and I know this chap well over in the UK, once again, he's a very smart boy. This has not just been, lights modded, etc. This has been completely changed in all its, you'll see echo controls over there instead of what used to be RF gain, etc. No, wrong. No, that wasn't the RF gain. No, what was that? I'll have to go check now. Jeez. And obviously he's done some stuff over here with top band TB, 10kc off, etc. Now in Australia, I must be honest with you, we're going to have to disable those 2 switches just to make it legal. And anyone says, don't be stupid, trust me, ACMA have not got a sense of humour on these right now, and coming up on 27555 is not something we can show you on video. Or I could do, look, when I first get this radio in, I'll be able to show you on dummy load what this radio does. I do have an experimental scientific license, so I can do that, but I need to then, if I'm going to put it on air, bring it back to standard, and that's it. So there you go, that's a bit of an idea. But here's the rule, and here's the rule that I'd like to sort of keep to. As you'll see over here, I've got a Cobra 2000 with all its covers on it and everything. Looks beautiful. So what, as a collector, what you want to try and do is you want to try, and if you're going to have a blingy radio, that's fine. But the true investment is going to be in the most standard radio. No tracks cut, no switches that suddenly turn that into channel 60 something, noise blankers that work, etc., etc. So you get the idea that that's you covering your investment. And as I said, go and buy another one that's blingy, that someone's done a lot of mods, or do some mods yourself, which I got a bit lazy with that Cobra. Look, there's nothing on that Cobra I couldn't do, but I've got to be honest, who's got the time? I mean, there's hours of work gone into that. So yeah, look, just a bit of advice. Don't be sort of too modification crazy, because you're probably hurting your investment a little bit. Now that Cobra 2000 I just showed you on the internet, look, that's going to be $1,200 every day of the week. That's just there's a buyer for that every day of the week. And look, it's cost me probably a little bit less than that, just a tad less, maybe $11.40, $11.50 by the time it lands. But the true collector, he'll want the other one. He'll want the one I've got sitting on my shelf, where and then you might, as I said, you might get a situation where he says, well, hang on, that really takes me. It's something that I want to buy. So, you'll get two of them. Now, as you'll find out, as I found out, you've only got so much room, and we've got one or two radios sitting around the place here. So, even we've got to start working out, what fits, what doesn't. Okay, so let's get back to the President Washington 2-button 858. They fantastic model. Really always been in love with them. Not sure I'd sell this one. I'm actually talking about one right now, but the more I'm sort of looking at, look, it's not perfect. It's got a couple of little marks on it, but we'll see. It's one of those ones where someone said something to me the other day, because I said a particular radio may not have been for him, and he said, Brenton, this particular radio, even though there's a couple of little issues with it, he said, mate, where am I going to get another one? They're getting that hard to find, so I'm going to buy yours. And I said to him, mate, look, I know what you are like. I know the sort of radio you want. And unfortunately, he's right, that you just can't get these radios anymore. They are just getting to the point where some of these models are just not able to be found. So, so I conceded and said, well, look, I'll send it up to you. And look, he's a collector. He's bought a lot of radios off me, so that's great. All right, so let's fire this thing up and see where we're going to go. Okay, we're going to do a transmit receive test and just have a look at how she's going. But have a look at this, my bloody power supply. Now, this is a little bit, look at the digit on the bottom of the 2 there. Give me a break, adjust. Hang on. I'm going to have to find a voltage that's, there you go. We'll leave it at 14.1 instead of 14.2. The bloody bottom digits just started to give me, that's just a little, excuse me, what are they? Little Powerworks, that one over there. But yeah, that's been a reliable little supply. They're good for 30 amps. Those things are a little switch mode. But I've got dozens of supplies in this place, but I just seem to run that one. We've got to run up. I've got a big one down here somewhere. There's a big 120 amp down there sitting next to that converter. I haven't even fired that up yet. Okay, back to what we're supposed to be doing. We get diverted. So let's have a look. Let's put a signal into it. I think we've got a signal into it. Have we? No, we haven't. Or we have, but we've got to put it on channel 35. Ah, yes. Okay. So, 0.5 a microvolt. Beautiful. Just take that down to 0.1. Still hearing it. 0.05. Still hearing it. Yeah, I'm happy. That's amazing. And let's have a look there. Just over S9 for 50 microvolts. Close enough. Yeah, I'm happy. And let's just do a quick hello test. And we'll just remember there's not PEP on this thing. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, geez, I'll tell you what. Hello. This is why people love Uniden. Testing on dummy load. Me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2. Hello. All right. Well, that's doing a bit over what it should do, to be fair. So let's see what's doing on AM carrier. Yeah, that's okay. 3 points. Hello, hello. Test 1, 2. 3.7 watts on carrier. And they're funny, they've taken the sideband quite high on this, and AM they've left pretty much standard. Excuse me, not a bad idea, just to sort of not over stress these things on AM, but yeah, look, that's not too bad. Just forgot to check upper sideband, just have a little look at that as well. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, test. Now, remember, sometimes the reason we check upper and lower is that people twiddle. Two things you'll notice. Sometimes you'll go to upper and lower and you'll find a completely different sound. You'll sit there and go, well, what's going on here? Upper sideband sounds really narrow, or lower sideband, and that's people that have mucked around with the filters and they've just not got it right. A lot of people, unfortunately, do twiddle and shouldn't twiddle. Anyway, but that's working well. The thing is, you can actually hear on between the two sidebands when they're switching correctly. The only thing that I'm going to do with this is I'm going to give every one of these controls a bit of a clean. Why? Because they've been sitting around for so long, and knowing my mate in Ohio, he's not overly technical, so he's probably not had time to do too much to it either. This one actually does come with a President mic too, so that's sort of nice too. But yeah, look, they're a nice radio. They really are, and people love the things. They were just the they were incredibly popular in their day. All right, now what else can I tell you about it? All the controls. See, we'll give that switch a clean. See how that's a little bit noisy? We can make that very not noisy. Noise blanket. Once again, a little bit of switching noise there. Now, I think the volume had a bit of scratchiness to it, just a little bit, so we'll clean that. Squelch, it's working. Yeah, once again, another one we'll clean. Mic gain, you won't hear a thing, of course, at the moment, but believe me, you can have scratchy mic gain controls that'll actually affect, the transmit audio. So, clean them, absolutely. Clarifier, obviously probably one of the most, used items, is seemingly quite good there. So, pretty much not a bad radio. This was obviously coming from the US, 110 volt radio. Now, my mate in the US, he won't ship a radio outside of the US that with a 110 volt cord on it. He has a bit of a heart attack thinking that people might hurt themselves or do the wrong thing, plug it in. So he always removes the cords. Look, I don't mind that because we normally do a 240 volt mod on these. I haven't on this one. It's actually sitting there just running on 12 volts at the moment too. So, anyway, it's either something we'll get to or we won't get to. We'll see. But a little bit of a mark just over the channel selector thing there. But, sort of beggars can't be choosers with President Washington 2 buttons these days. They just, unfortunately, they've got to that stage. I've always thought that, look, when we get marks or things, we find ways at times to sometimes do another badge. Now, I know that sometimes is not in keeping completely, but sometimes it will tie in. I had one the other week where they had a mark on the bottom section here. So it was a Uniden Washington. So they went Uniden, and then they put another Washington over there that actually was a bigger, that covered the mark and covered the problem. And actually, you'd have to really look hard to say, hang on, was that meant to be there or not? So sometimes you've got to get a bit creative as we're getting, these radios much, much older. All right, well, that's the President Washington 2 button. Excuse me. It's about, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. So I had a good night's sleep last night. I've had a rotten run this last week, I've got to tell you. But I actually got a good night's sleep last night. Look, just some problems with my kidneys still giving me a bit of pain and stuff and wearing me out. But hopefully I've got to go do some roofing today. So we'll see. Maybe I can make Riley do most of the work. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see how that all goes. Looks like the rain's going to hold off, so might get a few screws in. 73s, all the best from VK3 Charlie Mike or JDW229 on the other one. Please subscribe, and thanks very much, guys. I really appreciate your comments. I appreciate a lot of the feedback that we get, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So hang in there. We'll try and get a bit more out for sure. 73s.